Right. Well, so welcome everybody to the Regen community call here. We'll be going over news mostly related to the march towards mainnet launch. So I always try to keep the updates to about 15 minutes. We'll be passing the mic back and forth between myself and Dan, Neil, maybe Corey as well. I'm not sure if he's on, but if not, I can do some updates there, and hopefully keep updates to something like 15 minutes. And then if there's questions, comments, we'll be able to have a little bit of a dialogue, a little bit of a discussion. So again, this is the Regen community call for March 24th, and welcome everybody. So if you want to go to the next slide, Dan, that'd be great.
Dan, do you want to just put it on present mode so it like shows it on the whole screen?
Yes.
Up at the top right up there.
Yep, I can.
There you go. Perfect.
There you go.
All right. So we are happy to say on our end that we have sent we've sent out all of the token agreements to our testnet participants and are wrapping that process up. It's been a pretty heavy lift to get all of that done. Well done, Dan and Sarah B on our end, and I've been participating. Really, the whole team has been working together on that to do a sort of compliant and official distribution of Regen tokens to all of the amazing community members who've been helping us bring this network together as validators. So that's concluded. The wallet generation submissions is closed. So we are finally assembling, we're auditing and assembling a little bit behind our hoped for schedule, the Genesis file. So we're shooting to try to have that Genesis file and to be able to have the script that generates the Genesis file and our fully audited sort of list of token allocations done on Friday. So that's our hope. Just to let everybody know, it's possible that that it'll actually happen first thing next week. The candidate, so essentially the candidate chain, the candidate Genesis file, the purpose of that isn't robust and rigorous testing of the blockchain. We already did that together over a few months of incentivized testnets. Instead, this candidate chain is for everybody to be able to audit token allocations and just sort of make sure that it matches either on a personal level or on a community level what, so everybody can sort of participate. Hey, this is what's been talked about. This is what was in the white paper. This is what your allocation is if you were a validator or you were a contributor in the private sale, the pre-sale, et cetera, et cetera. So this is the time for everybody to be checking things out on that level, sort of more of a social process of all of us coming to consensus that this candidate is indeed the right one to move forward. So we want to give the community a minimum of a week to be able to be doing auditing. So even if we don't get that launched until early next week, there will still be a full week of that candidate being run. If there's any changes, everybody should be aware, if there's any changes that need to be made to that file, we'll want to run another version of it. And we're going to launch the mainnet. Our plan is to launch the mainnet 48 hours after the successful conclusion of running the candidate. So if any amendments need to be made, it just bumps, we'll need to run a new version, and then, there'll be 48 hours. So maybe, we'll run that new version for 24 hours, and then there'll be a 48-hour gap. So that's just how to think about the dependency between running the Genesis candidate and how that relates to our mainnet launch. And again, we're doing everything we can for this to sort of be fully audited, and we hope that it'll be the right candidate for everybody to agree that mainnet is the next move. If you want to move to the next slide, that'd be great. So again, we're still on track for the Genesis date of April 8th. And if it doesn't happen due to just amendments that need to happen in the candidate Genesis file, that will probably bump us into the next week. We're going to be publishing the postmortem blog soon, so stay tuned for that. Again, these are some things that we reported on last week as well. Please have a look at the pre-flight checklist for future modules. This is kind of related to how we want to govern, both from a software quality control, I think, as well as sort of, you know, what features we're bringing onto mainnet. We did a little bit of a survey with our really great lead validator community about ways that they were seeing successful community engagement around governance of public blockchains. So we want to keep it pretty simple, and our initial plan here is to just integrate a discourse forum with Discord, and so there'll essentially be a forum.regen.network, and that will allow us, we hope, to have a central place for us to be talking about governance, module development, dApp development, and just sort of our community needs in a threaded, sort of structured process. Because oftentimes on Discord or Telegram, these conversations get a little bit disjointed and they're hard for people to track and participate in. So that's going to be sort of our minimum viable location for discussing community governance. In the future, we hope to evolve some more sophisticated tools, and we're really open to suggestions, and I myself have been doing a pretty deep dive over the last 6 months into different tools that are out there. We're going to be keeping it pretty simple to start with, though. Dan updated the Google Calendar with some of these changes, just, you know, around when we're going to be launching the candidate chain for people to be checking balances, etc. So those are all reflected in the Google Calendar. So it should be, if you're already subscribed, it should be updated for you. And if you'd like to subscribe, just to understand and keep on track with main events as we're marching towards mainnet, feel free to pull it. And we'll also, as always, share this publicly, this presentation. So docs.regen.network is getting a facelift and getting some more information put into it. Pretty excited about that. Want to go to the next slide there for me. And we spoke about this last week, but worth just revisiting. There's a set of videos around validator best practice that Mircea and the informal team have been putting together. So thank you, Mircea. Do you want to speak about the videos and just resources at all here?
Sure, I can say a couple of words. There's not much to say. They're pretty self-explanatory. They deal with kind of the basics of operating a node. From the title, you can see it talks about the different node types and what they do, and some best practices on how to secure them, like very basic stuff. Same with the key store and its different backends and what they mean. And then what the keys and prefixes, there's lots of those. Private keys, validator keys, operator keys. So it's easy to get lost in it. Hopefully that video clears things up and it's an easy reference when people get caught up in the fever of the launch. And that's about it. We hope to have more as we create them. I'm going to add links to the Discord. I'm going to post them in the validators channel in Discord.
Fantastic. Thank you. All right. You want to go to the next one there, Dan? All right. So as always, you can check out the public Notion roadmap for up-to-date progress around the different sort of working groups involved with Regen Network. That includes our work on the SDK, Cosmos SDK, that includes work on Regen Ledger, our work in the open team community, our science work, and our work on the public ecosystem service registry, which is kind of the cornerstone product that we're launching with. So you can click on that link if you want to see updates, sort of see our epics moving across as we get things done. Next slide. I think that wraps it up, actually. Oh, that was
Actually, I skipped one.
Okay.
The hackathon.
Oh, great. Where'd that go? Yeah, so we've got a bounty for a in collaboration with the Green NFT working group, which is with Mint Fund and Stakefish and us, sort of co-sponsoring and have several bounties. So if you want to play around with Cosmos-based NFT minting, if you want to play with using Regen Ledger for offsetting NFTs, there's you can have a look. There's some pretty cool ideas. A lot of it is sort of specification and design, although if people dig in and are sophisticated and want to just start building modules or spinning up ideas, you certainly will get bonus points as far as our judging process goes. But we're also looking for ideas and submissions and just sort of specification and design ideas. So check it out. It's pretty blue sky, utilizing IBC, utilizing Regen Ledger for offsetting, utilizing Cosmos NFT modules for hosting NFT art and other stuff. So check it out. The idea there is to just bring attention to the different ways that, minting and exchanging and curating NFTs can also be linked to positive ecological impact and not just have large environmental externalities. So great. So I think that sort of wraps up the my report part of the call, and it looks like we're right at the 15-minute mark. So if you want to stop screen sharing, you can do that, Dan. And I'm happy to open it up for questions, comments. I also recognize I have an agenda item that we didn't get into the slideshow. Dan, you were hoping that I'd go over how validators are chosen or how validators become part of the top 50 after mainnet launch. So I'll talk about that, but I also want to just open it up and see what questions and feedback there is from the community.
Gregor, you had said 48 hours after we approve the candidate, we'll run the mainnet. Is there any chance that we're going to run it earlier than April 8th, or is it like April 8th or that, whichever is earlier? Right.
If the candidate that we choose or the candidate that we launch is audited and vetted by everybody and there are no amendments that need to take place and there are no issues, April 8th is the earliest we will launch mainnet.
Perfect.
If there are any issues, we will correct those issues and run that candidate and then run it for, I think we'll want to run it for 48 hours at every chunk. So we'll have a revised candidate, run it for 48 hours. If there's any issues, you sort of repeat that cycle. Then there's going to be a 48-hour gap between sort of successful conclusion of the candidate and when we launch, when we set the time for all of us to come together and launch the blockchain, Regen Ledger.
Perfect. Thanks for the clarity.
So is the mainnet launch synchronized with the launch party? Is it going is it like a live event?
Yes, we'll be hosting, which makes the launch party kind of a moving target. But, so we're shooting for April 8th, but everybody should know that there's this sort of recursive process. So at the end of the day, we're only going to have 2 days notice for when that launch party actually happens, because yes, it's going to coincide with in keeping with the culture established at Cosmos of bravely just having a live launch party in the midst of spinning up a decentralized complex protocol together. we'll be live casting that. So
Oh my God.
yeah.
That would be like the highlight of April at this point.
Yeah, it should be fun.
I
And
think
and that
so.
show, yeah, so that show is going to be pretty fun. We'll invite so the R&D Inc., Regen Foundation, our lead validators are all co-hosting that show. I'll be mostly the MC. I'll probably pass it back and forth to some other people, and we're going to have interviews with the science team, with land stewards, with validators, with developers, with friends in the Cosmos ecosystem, maybe some surprise guests. So it's going to be pretty fun. We'll sort of get a little bit of a snapshot of the community that's coming together to launch Regen Network. So should be fun.
Yeah. Excited.
Cool. So I think I should speak to what does it take to be one of the 50 validators running Regen Ledger as a part of Regen Network. So it's a permissionless public blockchain. So what that means is the way that the 50 validators is our launch parameter for how many validators, how many nodes can actually participate in governance, earn block rewards and fees. So it's the top 50, the top 50 in relationship to how many Regen tokens are delegated and staked on those validators are the active 50. Just like the Cosmos Hub and other Cosmos SDK based blockchains, people change parameters. Ours is launching at 50. So what you need to do in order to participate, to be sort of, to ensure the highest likelihood of being in the top 50 is, of course, submit your GenTX so that you're, available. Self-delegate if you've earned tokens or purchased tokens, so that you are immediately helping secure the network. And of course, it's really I'll share a little bit of our criteria at R&D and what on the foundation is going to be publishing their sort of delegation criteria as well. So both organizations before mainnet launch will publish clear criteria about how they're thinking about delegation. But ultimately, it's at discretion, and it's a lot about reputation. So do delegators know you as a validator? Do you have a reputation in the community, in the larger Cosmos ecosystem? Those are very important sort of elements of receiving, of ensuring that you're going to be in the top 50. I would say the big three things to consider are, are people running a secure validator? Are people contributing to the community in a meaningful way and like present so that they're known entities? And the third, and maybe unique in some ways to Regen Network, are you as a validator engaging in the mission of Regen Network? Is there some way that you're working to apply the application level logic of the protocol to create ecological credits, to work with communities, to engage in governance? There's a lot of different ways that could show up, but are you sort of engaging and contributing? Those are three of the major criteria that I know on the R&D Inc. side is going to be considered for choosing where we delegate our 7.5% of the token supply that goes to sort of that we have ability to, and I think investors, and other community members may have similar criteria. So hopefully that's sort of helpful context. I'll take a pause. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
So talking about investors and token holders, is there a number of addresses or token holders you can disclose at this point, or this is not an information you can share at this point?
Yeah, I mean, it's not completely final. We haven't that's part of this, like, when are we going to like fully bake that and then have the candidate up? It's and Christian could give us the most up to date, but I believe we're around 470 unique token holders.
That's right, Gregory. I think it's a little bit more than that. We're going to be close to 500. I don't think we're actually going to cross 500, but yeah, we're excited about launching with this many.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we're excited. We feel that our goal, we had an internal sort of team goal of having 500 addresses, and it seems like we're going to be pretty close. So that's validators and contributors in the pre-sale, and team members, advisors, sort of it's fairly close-knit community that's been working together on this for quite some time. So
I do
500 is also pretty big, I think. Go ahead, Christian.
Looking forward to having a little bit of time to kind of put together some numbers and some charts and publish some stuff around, you know, the initial Genesis file, so that there's a little bit more transparency and understanding by the broader community what that looks like. But we've just been so busy processing everyone's SAFs and getting the addresses collected that hasn't happened yet.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and I'm sort of also a little embarrassed. I've been trying to work on a blog, hopefully that will include some of the information, that analysis that Christian's talking about, that also does a full review of sort of from the white paper to what we're launching with, and just shows how, back in 2017, what we were conceptualizing, what we learned, and what we're launching with. Our approach to ecological data, our approach to credits. It will also include sort of a thorough analysis of the token distribution that was elucidated and talked about in the white paper, and what we have right now, which is actually remarkably, it's all pretty darn close, but just so sort of a full disclosure to the whole community about where we're at right now and what we're actually launching with. And so pretty excited to be able to share all of that. And really, actually quite remarkable how close we are to what we set out to do a few years back. So look forward to being able to share that. Are there any questions about the sort of being in the active validator set? Is that clarifying to folks? And it's possible that the folks who've had questions aren't on the call. I'm not sure. Great. Are there other questions or comments from folks that are, it could be anything, completely unrelated to we've been very focused on mainnet. That's top of mind for a lot of the team and community, I know, but also welcome any other questions or ideas even.
Do we have any new farmers who joined recently?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, actually, after the Microsoft announcement, after our sale of our initial vintages of pilot credits that we put together in 2020 with our partners in New South Wales, Australia, we had a huge influx of interest on both sides of the marketplace, both buyers who wanted to buy credits and farmers, land stewards who want to be listed on. So yeah, we have Christian, do you have a sense of what the actual numbers are right now of people who've sort of signed up to receive information?
I haven't looked recently at our database that tracks all that information, but in the weeks that follow, is like we had hundreds of thousands of acres come in, representing a couple hundred farmers. So yeah, the interest on that side of it is definitely strong.
Yeah.
That's definitely a type of information that I believe our community will be very interested to learn and to understand what the pace in which farmers and interested parties are engaging with Regen.
Yeah, good, good feedback. All right, other questions?
Yeah, it looks like there was a question in chat there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, let me see. Starting reward staking percentage, it will be 20%, and it will go down to 7% over the course of the year, if if the percent staked is above 66%. And anytime the percent is lower than 66%, it will start to slowly, inflation will start to, or staking emissions will start to slowly go back up again. So you've got every incentive to stake those tokens quickly, because 20% is pretty high, I think.
So we will be able to do that as a token holder through the CLI and also from Kepler, right? At this point.
That's correct. You can manage your delegations via Kepler or via CLI.
Cool. Do you have an estimation of the bonded ratio that we should expect after launch?
That's a good question. I mean, I think we'll be shooting to get up past 66%, as quickly as can be done while maintaining a good decentralization ratio. So I think we don't want to sort of like quickly over delegate and have certain validators have way more stake. So there's going to be sort of like a slow, methodical process amongst at least the 7.5% of token supply that R&D has. It's not going to just like get instantly delegated. And the foundation, the community staking pool that it's stewarding, and the 5% that it directly sort of manages, which is a total of 35%. Also, it's a chunk, right? And it will be slowly staked in such a way that the network is sort of coming up to that fully bonded percent.
Mm-hmm. And one last question. Is there going to be like a public delegation program, like where like, I don't know, validators will be able to apply or things like that? Or this is more of a decision of how the foundation would like to handle delegations?
We are working, and this is a great thing to bring up. I would like to see us have some sort of kind of public transparency for validators to apply, and I think having actual identity and sort of having a sort of validator registry system would be healthy and helpful for the whole community, and that for the foundation as well. We currently don't have that active, so I think to launch, unless community members like yourselves, other lead validators, Chris was also talking about this idea, take some initiative to get that built beforehand. The foundation the foundation team has been definitely paying attention to the incentivized test nets and engagement on Discord, and will be sort of like using that information to guide their delegation decisions, as well as a policy that they'll publish. But it would be enormously helpful to have sort of a registration system. We were thinking that would probably have to happen after launch, just due to sort of the process here to get the network up and running successfully. So yeah, if community members have a little bit of will and would like to take initiative on that, just get in touch with me. I'm super happy to try to support that. Dan, I'm sure, would also lean in, and we can co-create a system to try to get registration. It would be helpful for everybody. So by all means, let's try to make that happen. But if it doesn't happen before launch, I hope that we can make it happen shortly after.
Awesome. I can start work with Dan on that and see what we can come up with.
Fantastic. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, that'd be great. Please.
Thank you. All right. Well, we're past the top of the hour, so I want to respect everybody's time. Thank you so much for showing up to the community call. If you've got questions, feel free to ping us in Discord, of course, and we look forward to launching the Regen Network here, and hopefully in the next few weeks. And we'll be keeping everybody in the know about the candidate chain that's going to get up and running, so that everybody can go check out allocations and make sure everything looks good. All right. Bye, everybody.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye. Thank
Ciao.
you.
Thanks, everybody.